Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain to you a few recommendations, a few tips, a few things to keep in mind before visiting Brazil, because I recently had a trip to Rio de Janeiro, Rio de Janeiro, as some Brazilians will say. And the beginning and the end of the trip were some of the two worst experiences I've had. It was rough, and I don't want that to happen to anybody else, so I'm just going to try to explain a few things that you should be aware of. All right. The first recommendation would be to do your research on the yellow fever vaccination requirement. I say this because when I was leaving Brazil, I was in Sao Paulo. I was leaving Brazil going back to Colombia. We were boarding, and I showed the guy my passport and my plane ticket. And he asked me, do you have a yellow fever vaccination certificate? And I said no. And they basically denied me entry onto the plane. And they told me I would have to fly back to Rio, because that's where I spent most of my time. I would have to get the shot there, and then I would have to wait 10 days to get the certificate. So it's not like you get the shot and then you can leave the same day. No, you have to wait 10 days. I think it takes 10 days for the vaccination to kick in. I think that's why. But you can imagine like having to get a hotel for an extra 10 days, the food and stuff like that. Like Brazil's expensive, or Rio's expensive. All right, now I'll talk about that in another video, but I would hate for that to happen to somebody else. Now, thankfully, with the help of a friend back home, I didn't really have to go through that whole process. But again, that would suck for somebody who would have to go through that. So entering Brazil from most countries, I believe, is not a problem, but leaving could be a different story depending on which country you're going back to. So just make sure you're doing your research, all right, to figure out the country that you're going to after Brazil if you need a vaccination, or in this case, Colombia. I needed one. So now let's rewind to your packing for Brazil. And one thing you should know are about the outlets. All right, and as you can see in this picture, I don't know what it's called, but they got the 3 holes. And so, chances are if you're staying in a hotel or somewhere where they receive a lot of foreigners, they may have an adapter available in your room. But just to be on the safe side, you should have at least one universal adapter. All right, which is what you see in the picture at the top. This is my universal adapter, and you can use this. Universal adapters, for anybody who doesn't know, you can use them in any country. You use them anywhere. And so I would recommend buying one. Just going on Amazon, and look, you don't need the most fancy, most expensive adapter. Just go get one, get the cheapest one, and you'll be just fine. All right, so just keep that in mind. Are the outlets. The outlets are different if you're coming from the US, and I recommend buying a universal adapter. This next one was a rookie mistake, and I'm gonna blame it to I was tired. All right, so when I finally got to Rio, I was tired. I'll spare you guys all the details of what happened, but just know that I missed the flight, had to catch a taxi from one airport to another, blah, blah, blah. When I got to Rio, I was like, I just want to pull out some money, head back to my place and just rest, take a shower and rest. And so when I was leaving the airport, there was an ATM right near the exit. All right, as you see in this picture, don't do it. If you see an ATM, first of all, if you see a white ATM or you see any ATM that's just by itself, don't go to it, because what had happened was they charged me 30 reais, and then they charged me another fee of 60 reais, so 90 reais altogether. I'm not gonna do the math. You guys can do it on yourself. Do it on your own, but just know that it's a lot of money. And some of you guys may be wondering, like, why would you pay all that? Look, I was tired. I thought this was the last ATM because it was right near the exit, but it wasn't. When I walked outside and I looked to the left, there were a group of ATMs where everybody was at. And right then and there, I knew I messed up. I knew those were the ATMs I was supposed to go to. All right, and so I'm gonna show you what they look like. And these are the ATMs. All right, usually, first of all, they're red, and there's usually like 3 or 4 all in a row. So when you get to Brazil, if you do not see these ATMs, do not go to any other ATM other than these ones. All right, you're not gonna miss them. There's probably gonna be a ton of people waiting in line at the ATM, which was another mistake. I was at the ATM, and usually after a flight, everybody lines up to use them, but nobody was lining up behind me. And that's when I kind of realized I think I messed up, but it was too late. All right, so, but here are what the ATMs look like. All right, so just keep that in mind. When you get to Brazil, they're gonna be red, and there's gonna be a group of them, and there's probably gonna be a lot of people at them. Those are the ones you wanna go to. Those are the ATMs you wanna use. And since we're on the topic of money, let's go ahead and get into the currency. In Brazil, they use the Brazilian real. And as the making of this video, 3.94 reais equals $1. And so to make math easier for me, I just rounded up to 4. 4 reais equals $1. So 20 reais is around $5. 40 reais is around $10, and so on. Also, the denominations are pretty easy to work around because they're similar to what we have in the United States. If you're looking at the picture, they got the 50 reais, 20 reais, 10 reais, 5, 2 reais. I don't think I've seen a 1 reais in a dollar form, in a bill form, but I know they have the coins. All right, and so if there are, somebody let me know. Also, I think I've seen a 100 reais bill in a supermarket, but I've never received it. When you go to the ATM, you're not going to receive it. So here's basically what you need to know in this picture. Here are the denominations. All right. This next one is going to be the AC, air conditioner. I live in Colombia, Medellin, Colombia. So you really don't need an air conditioner here. You can have it. All you need, if you have like a spot that has a window, you just leave the window open, you'll be just fine. Or if you have like a little fan, you'll be just fine. So when I went to Brazil, I brought that same mentality. I booked a room in a hostel, and in the description they said they'll only have AC from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Which for me, I was like, cool, during the day I'm gonna be out doing stuff. And you know, if I do sleep in or whatever, it probably won't be that bad. I'll leave the window open. No, it will be that bad because Rio is a hot and humid city. I remember a tour guide telling me that they have 2 seasons in Rio, summer and hell. All right, and so I'm telling you guys right now, when you're booking your place, make sure that they have AC available, and AC available all day because it will be hot. Next up, we have getting a Brazilian SIM card. Now, if you already have a service provider that has a international plan where you can use in other countries, you know, like no additional cost, or maybe it's like really cheap, then you don't need to worry about this. But for me, I have a Colombian service provider, Tigo, and their roaming data, their roaming prices, if I told you, you would not believe me. So when I got to Brazil, I got a Brazilian SIM card. And so for my research, the best company with the prepaid plans was Tim. All right, I don't know how to pronounce it. But if you go to the Rio Sul shopping mall, all right, near Botafogo, kind of near Copacabana, it's close. All right, if you go to that shopping mall, go to the 3rd floor, then go to the Chim store, whatever, however you pronounce it. Nobody there speaks English, but they'll know. You show them your passport and they already know. All right, just make sure you bring your passport. And then the SIM card, I forgot the price, it was cheap. And then the plans, I paid 15 real, which is like $3.50 or something like that. And I was only there for 10 days, and I think they gave me like 2 gigs or something like that, which for me was just enough. In the room, I'm gonna use Wi-Fi. When I'm out and about, I'm just gonna use Uber and Google Maps, and I'm gonna be out doing stuff. I'm not gonna be on my phone while I'm on vacation, you know? So if you're looking for a Brazilian SIM card, a company that I would recommend, that also a lot of blog posts online recommend, is Tim or Chim, or however you pronounce it. And last but not least, we have the fact that nobody speaks English. You know, I mean, look, obviously, if you're in the tourist areas, right, when you're going to like a restaurant or something like that, the waiter's probably going to speak some form of English. But I'm talking about like just in the streets. You know, you're just in the streets walking around. You walk into like a random shop. They probably don't speak English. You're talking to people just on the, out and about, maybe at the beach or whatever. They're probably not going to speak English. But the great thing is, which is why, another reason why you should learn Spanish, is that one, Portuguese and Spanish is very similar. Like when people speak Portuguese, I kind of, if you speak Spanish, you'll be able to understand the gist of what somebody's saying in Portuguese. That's one. And two, you gotta realize Brazil is surrounded by Spanish-speaking countries. So in the tourist areas, I would say that more of the people speak Spanish as a second language than English. So if you know some Spanish, you'll be able to get by. If you don't know, you'll be able, if you only speak English, don't worry, you'll be able to get by. I'm not saying like it's gonna be horrible, but just know that, you know, outside of the restaurants, outside of the tour, nobody speaks English really. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, those are all the tips, recommendations, things to keep in mind that I have for you. Like I said, the beginning was rough, the ending was rough, but once I got situated, You know, it was all great. And so I'm just sharing with you guys my experience. Hopefully none of this stuff happens to you. And like I said, make sure you do your research. And yeah, man, I'm gonna end the video right here. I hope the video has helped somebody, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Deuces.